All right, welcome everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. We are here at our 1976 Yankees replay. This is the first game that, the first game or the first season that I ever played. Back in 1977, I ordered the APBA 1976 set, and it came, and I was hooked, and I wouldn't stop playing, and I don't think I came out of my room for a month just rolling dice. And my parents would stop by my room and they'd knock on the door and ask me if I was alive in there. And uh, and that's the story. That's how the story of my addiction began. And it was in the summer of 1977 that I rolled a lot of dice and replayed the 1976 Yankee season. And I kept it in a blue marble, giant, thick marble notebook, and I would keep the stats to the right of the page, and each game would go on each page, and I would pull from the roster. I got a hold of the Yankee schedule, and I would pull the three top pitchers from every team's roster to know who the Yanks were going to face in the series. But what it turned out, it ended up that I was always grabbing the top three guys, and usually the ABs were the guys that the Yanks always faced, and I couldn't understand why. I played the whole season, and and every time the team came around, I picked the same top three pitchers. So throughout the season, I'm scratching my head. I'm saying, "Wow, this is strange," because it's advertised as being very accurate, and this is not happening. Well, my batting average are way low. So anyway, a little while after that, I started as I learned the mechanics more and learned the game more and spent some time researching that. I found out what I had done wrong, and then from that point on, I started in the future of my game playing. I started just picking cards and just kind of shuffling the 5 or 6 starters that they had and just randomly selecting starters because I didn't have the data. Now I do. So in this game, it's going to be Ross Grimsley. Now Grimsley won 8 games, lost 7, and he had a 3.95 ERA. He's considered a C. And then it's going to be against Jim Catfish Hunter for the Yanks, who is a B2YZ. And he won 17 games with a 3.53 ERA. I guess the short right field porch for Hunter was not welcome. I know he gave up a whole lot of home runs, and he's known for having given up many, many, many home runs at Yankee Stadium. And we're right about to start. So it's going to be Grimsley facing Rivers, White, and Munson. This is going to move pretty fast. It's 11:25, so within 35 minutes we should be done. It's an 8, and that's going to be a single for Rivers. Mick the Quick is on at first. He's always a threat to steal. But in APBA, you have to roll the steal. So this is going to be a hard hit ground ball right at the third baseman, who is Brooks Robinson. And Brooks Robinson is a 5. So this may turn out to be a 5-4-3 double play for Brooks Robinson and the Orioles. 2 out, and it's going to be Thurman Munson. Thurman Munson, the great Yankee catcher in the 70s who passed in an August plane crash in Pennsylvania. 25. That's a line drive base hit for Thurman Munson. That's the second hit in this inning against Grimsley. 2 out. Munson is at first, and it's going to be Chris Chambliss. Chambliss batted .293 with 17 home runs. That's a 31, and that's an 8. And that's going to send Munson to third base, single. So Chambliss is on at first with a single. It's runners on the corners now with 2 outs, and it's Sweet Lou Piniella. Here's Sweet Lou Piniella. Oh, almost out of 55 there. That's a 34 with runners at the corners. A lot of chart checking in app, I noticed, compared to Strat. A lot of checking constantly the charts. First and third, 34. And that's going to be a pop-up to the left fielder. Short left field. That's Bunbury out there. Makes the catch. for the third out. So the Yanks managed 3 hits, but no runs in the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first. It's going to be Bunbury Gritch and Bunbury Gritch and Muser, Tony Muser. There we go. Against Hunter. That's a ball 4. So Bunbury's on at first. He manages a walk against Hunter. Bobby Gritch. It's a 54 fly ball right field. 1 away. There is Kenny Singleton, a future Yankee announcer. Tony Muser. It's a 16. It's going to be a ground ball at Chicken Stanley. 2 out. Oh, wait a second. There's a runner on first. Forgot all about that. Chicken Stanley is a 8. So that's going to be a fielder's choice. 6-4 fielder's choice. So let's tidy that up. Two out. And Stanley on it. Muser on it first. Okay, here's Lee May. He's a power hitter. 25 home runs, 258 average. It's going to be a 51, which is a 9 against a B with a runner on first. That's going to be a single. Muser stops at second. So there's 2 outs and runners on first and second. It's Kenny Singleton now. Kenny Singleton batted .278 with 13 home runs. Former Met. 13. Runners on first and second at 13. Hunter's a Z. So that may be a Z, right. A Z is 2 balls, so he doesn't walk Singleton yet. Let's see what happens here. That's a 51. That's a 9 against a B with runners on first and second. That's a single, an infield single. The bases are now loaded with Orioles. We're still in the bottom of the first, no score. And the batter is going to be Elrod Hendricks, who in a short time gets traded to the Yanks. That's a 62, and that ball is lifted to left field. Roy White measures it for the third out. The Orioles leave 3, score none. And at the end of 1, it's no score. Wow, that took a while. That took a while. Catfish gives up 1, 2 hits, and 1 walk. And no K so far for either pitcher. Okay, I'm going to go to Nettles, the Yankee third baseman. Against Grimsley. Here's the pitch to Nettles. It's a fly ball lifted deep right field. Back goes Singleton to the track and makes a nice catch for the first out. It'll be Dempsey now. Got to figure out a simpler way to do this here. And it's a 54. That's lifted to right field again, and Singleton takes a step in, makes the catch. So Rick Dempsey flies out to Ken Singleton and right. 2 outs now. And it's going to be Willie Randolph. And that's a 24, and that's a 29. A 29. Grimsley's an R. That's the first R I've played with. I don't know what an R means. But it's a ground ball right back to Grimsley, and he feels his position for the third out. 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the second. No score. Okay, and that was against, right, so Hunter now is going to face Blair. Let's get the Yanks on top. Let's see if we can get the Yanks on top. We'll roll in this corner. And that way it'll make my life simpler. I don't want to be touching everything so much. There we go. Got that going there. Then we're going to move Blair. He's the leadoff batter. Blair, Robinson, and Belanger. These are guys from the late 60s and those, you know, that the Orioles played in 3 consecutive World Series in the late 60s. And these guys, there's still 4 or 5 guys on this team that were part of those great Oriole teams, which is fascinating to me. That, you know, players would stay that long with their teams. I mean, nowadays it's like, wow. All right. 61, that's a ground ball hit right at Chicken Stanley. He feels it over to first, 1 away. So Blair grounds out for the first out. And it's going to be a 33. That's going to be a line drive base hit to center field for Brooks Robinson. The Brooks Robinson, still around in 1976. Fascinating. Hasn't lost a step. He's a 5 at third. His batting average is really taken a hit. 211. His power, 3 home runs. So he's definitely not the player he once was offensively, but he can still play defense. And it's going to be Mark Belanger with a runner on first. So Mark is going to bunt. It's a 60 to a 13. That's a foul strike. He's going to bunt again, and that's a 53, a 20. Let's see what that turns into now. Excuse me. And that's going to be a 20. He's going to be safe on error. So it's going to be a sacrifice E2. So Belanger doesn't get, but he's on base, E2. So it's first and second with 1 out. And it's going to be the leadoff batter, Al Bunbury. Here's the pitch from Hunter. It's a 66. So that's going to be hammered into left field. And that's going to roll all the way to the wall. And coming around third is Brooks Robinson. He scores. And Belanger scores. And here's a throw to third base. And Bunbury's safe with a 2-run triple. So 1 out. And 2 runs are in. The Orioles lead at 2-0. Bunbury's on a third, and it's Bobby Grich. So Hunter wishes he had that pitch back. Here's the pitch. Infield is in for the Yanks, and that's a 13. Oh, no, that's a 9. And off of a a 9 with a runner on third, infield in. Against a B, that's going to be a single through short. Runner scores, batter out trying for second, 7-6. So it's an RBI single for Bobby Grich, and he gets thrown out for the second out. But that's 3-0 now. And there's 2 out. And it's going to be Tony Muser. Here's the pitch from Hunter, 26 to Muser. And that's a ground ball hit right at the third baseman, Nettles. Feels it over to first for the third out. But the Orioles pick up 3 runs on 3 hits. And now lead it 3-0. Wow, this game was supposed to go really fast. It's not happening at all. Grimsley's going to face Chicken Stanley. It's a 12 ground ball to the second baseman. That's Bobby Grich went away. Bobby Grich is a Gold Glove type second baseman. Ends up in California. Another ball that's chopped to Grich. Grich comes in. He's going to have to hurry to throw out Mickey Rivers, and he does. He gets him by a step. Nice hustle by Bobby Grich to get Rivers. Mick the Quick can really fly down the line. It's a 22. That's a line drive base hit center field for Roy White. And next is going to be Thurman Munson. Say 56. That's a 34. And the 34 is going to be a pop-up to the shortstop. And that's going to be the third out. So the Yanks failed to score. They leave one. And at the end of 2.5, it's 3-0 Baltimore. In the bottom of the inning is going to be Lee May, Singleton, and Hendricks. Here's the pitch from Hunter. It's a 42. That's a strikeout. That's the first strikeout for Hunter. Kenny Singleton now. It's a 22, and that's going to be a ball lifted to center field. Hit right on the button, but right at Mickey Rivers, who gets it for the second out. And it's going to be Paul Blair. Paul Blair flight. Oh, no, it's going to be Elrod Hendricks. Let's get that. We may have, where's Elrod? Yeah, we put, What happened to Kenny Singleton? He vanished. Hold on. Singleton may have gone to the wrong town. Yep. Put him in the wrong spot. That's what happened. Right now it's Hunter. And it's Kenny Singleton. That was Kenny Singleton. That's going to be a line drive base hit, not a fly ball to center field. We were looking at the wrong card. So Kenny Singleton's on with his second hit of the game. And now it's going to be with Singleton on first. It's going to be Elrod Hendricks. What's going on here? That's a 53, a 13. That's a strikeout. Second strikeout for Hunter. Second out of the inning. That's going to be Paul Blair now. Paul Blair grounded out in his last at bat. Say 23. It's going to be a ground ball hit right at the second baseman Randolph. He flips to Stanley for the force. So that's the third out. The Orioles leave one, score none. Here in the bottom of the third, we go to the top of the fourth, 3-0 Orioles. Then the top of the fourth is going to be Chris Chambliss, Lou Piniella, and Greg Nettles. 65, it's a pop-up to the catcher, Elrod Hendricks, one away. Lou Piniella, it's a 25, that's a line drive base hit for Sweet Lou Piniella. Greg Nettles. Oh, that's lined to center field. But right there is Blair. 2 out. And it's going to be Dempsey. Dempsey's over 1. He flied out to right field. It's a 64, and that's a strikeout. Let me double check that with a runner on first. This guy's an R, so I don't know when that R comes into play. There's a new... Oh, that's going to, instead of a strikeout, oh, I see. It's going to be a pop-up to the shortstop. Not really a strikeout pitcher, so they put the R in there to control that. And that's the third out. The Yanks leave one at the end of 3.5. It's 3-0 Orioles. In the bottom of the fourth, it's going to be... We are back. We got interrupted when the... my battery died. So we are in the bottom of the fifth. The Orioles lead the game 3-0. It's Catfish Hunter against Ross Grimsley. There was a runner, Muser, on second base. He reached base when the ball was hit to Hunter, and Hunter threw it over Chambliss's head into right field. Muser made it to second base. Then there was a pop-up by May, a fly out to center by Singleton, and now with 2 outs in the bottom of the fifth, it's going to be Elrod Hendricks. We're replaying Game 3 of the 1976 Yankee season, first season I ever played. It's going to be Elrod Hendricks. He's soon to be a Yankee. Gets traded, I think, for Rick Dempsey. Say 14. That's a fly ball lifted to left field, and White, he's there and measures it for the third out. So the Orioles lead 1 on the error, but they score none here in the bottom of the fifth. We go to the top of the sixth. So far, Ross Grimsley has really given the Yanks a time of it. They haven't been able to get anything going, string any hits together, other than in the first inning when they loaded the bases. Well, actually, no, they had 3 singles, but there was a double play in between. Outside of that, the Yanks really haven't managed too much against Ross Grimsley. So Ross Grimsley wasn't that kind of a pitcher. He's a C. All right, it's a 56 now to Roy White, and that's a strikeout. Let's make sure Ross Grimsley deserves those. I know with a run around first, he doesn't get those because his R rating makes it a pop-up. Gotta learn that. Oh no, it's a fly ball to center, even with nobody on. Okay, so I'm getting that. So it's a fly to center field to Blair. Blair runs that down, and now it's going to be Munson. Munson is 1 for 2. Say 52, and that's a ground ball right at Brooks Robinson. Brooks Robinson feels it over to first, out number 2, and now it's going to be Chris Chambliss. Chris Chambliss is 1 for 2 as well. He's singled in his first at bat. Here's the pitch. Say 61, and that's a 41, and that's going to be a ground ball hit at Belanger, and Belanger boots it. E6, very unusual. Belanger's one of the top fielding shortstops in the league at this point in his career. So that's going to be an E6, and Chambliss is on at first. You never like the inning to get extended like that. Now it's Sweet Lou Piniella. It's a 51, and that's an 8. And against a C pitcher, an 8 is runner to third. So Grimsley has to pitch through this inning to get to a C pitcher needs to go 6 innings to get upgraded to a B. So he needs to get through this inning. There's already 2 outs to go to a B. And it's going to be Greg Nettles now. Now, Greg Nettles is the type of guy that with one swing of the bat, he can tie up this game. It's 3-0 Orioles, but Nettles batted .254 and hit 32 home runs. Oh, and that's a 14 now. Grimsley's a Z, first and third. Let's see what that becomes. A Z. It's a 14. It's a base on balls. The bases are loaded. This is exciting. Bases loaded now. Nettles on the first, Piniella on second, and Chambliss on third. This all started after with a 2-out error by Mark Belanger. And it's going to be Dempsey. Rick Dempsey. Rick Dempsey batted .194 with no home runs. 23, and that's a 27 with the bases loaded. It's going to be an out. But what kind of an out? 27. It's going to be a ball hit right at Brooks Robinson, who steps on the bag for the force out. And that's the third out. The Yanks leave 3 here in the top of the 6th and don't score. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 3-0 Orioles. It's going to be Blair, Robinson, and Belanger against Jim Catfish Hunter. It's going to be 41 on Blair's card. It's a ground ball hit right at the shortstop. Stanley fields it over to first, 1 away. Blair's 0 for 3. Brooks Robinson's 1 for 2. Say 62. And that ball's hit right back to Hunter. Fields his position. 2 away. And Mark Belanger, who's 1 for 1. He singled earlier. So 46, and that's going to be a ball that's hit to the first baseman. Hunter's going to have to hurry up and get over there. And he does, and just beats Belanger for the 3rd out. So we go to the top of the 7th, 3-0 Orioles. It's going to be Randolph, Stanley, and Rivers in the top of the 7th against Grimsley. Here's the pitch to Randolph. 41, and that's a ground ball right at Belanger. Throws him out. Chicken Stanley batted .238 with 1 home run. 23, and that's a ground ball hit at the second baseman. Gritch takes his time. Out number 2. That's a 66. That's going to be hammered to right field, and that's going to roll to the wall. And Rivers, but whoa, great play cutting it off by Singleton. He gets it in quickly and holds Rivers to a double. Mickey was thinking about going to third, but Singleton got it in right away, cut it off quickly. Great play by Singleton. And now it's Roy White. Oh boy. Say 52, that's going to be a line drive base hit. And that's going to score Rivers. Rivers comes around third, scores easily, and on at first with an RBI single. And the first run of the Yankee game is Roy White. 2 outs, and it's going to be Thurman Munson. Squatty, they called him. Here's the pitch from Grimsley to Squatty. Oh, 62. That's a swing and a miss. So, wait, no. That's going to be a pop-up. And Belanger gets it for the out. So the Yanks leave 1, score 1, and at the end of 6.5, it's 3-1 Orioles. Go to the bottom of the 7th. It's going to be the top of the lineup for the Orioles. Here's the pitch from Hunter. It's a 4-3. And that's going to be a comebacker. Hunter flips to the first baseman, Chambliss, out number 1. .23. It's a hard hit ground ball right at the third baseman, Nettles. He scoops it, lets it fly, out number 2. And Tony Muser is 0 for 3. 64, that's a strikeout. Out number 3. Strikeout number 1, 2, 3 for Hunter. We'll go to the top of the 8th now, 3-1 Orioles. In the top of the 8th, it's going to be Chambliss, Piniella, and Nettles. Here's the pitch from Grimsley. 34, and that's swung on and lifted to center field. Blair over, out number 1. Pinella's 2 for 3, 2 singles. Here's the pitch to Piniella, 65, and that's popped up. And that's the catcher who's there for out number 2. And now it's going to be Greg Nettles. It's a 65. That's popped up as well. This is going to be in foul territory again. Elrod Hendricks is back there by the screen and makes the catch for out number 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th now. 3-1 Orioles. In the bottom of the 8th, it's going to be May, Singleton, and Hendricks. Lee May, here's the pitch from Catfish Hunter, 46, and that's a swing and a miss, strike 3. 4th strikeout for Hunter. And Kenny Singleton. Singleton is 2 for 3. 51. That's a line drive base hit for Kenny Singleton. Singleton's on at first. Hendricks. It's a hard hit ground ball right at Stanley. And he flips to Randolph back to first, not in time. So that's a fielder's choice for Hendricks, out number 2. Hendricks is on at first now. He's going to play it safe. Paul Blair, and that's a 43. That's going to be a 29. A 29 is a strikeout for Hunter. 5th strikeout for Hunter. And the 3rd out of the inning. They leave 1. Here in the bottom of the 8th, we go to the top of the 9th. Can the Orioles hold on? That's the question. It's going to be Dempsey, Randolph, and Stanley. The bottom of the order. I didn't write down in this game if there were any pinch hitters. I mean, at this point, no, there weren't no pinch hitters, but the Yankees did win this game. I'm going to try to bring somebody in here. I know that Oscar Gamble's available. So we're going to bring in Oscar Gamble to pitch for Dempsey. Here's the pitch. 51. And that's actually, he's a C again. So that's going to be a pop fly to the third baseman, Brooks Robinson. He's over and makes the catch. 1 away. Pinch hitter Gamble for Dempsey. Top of the 9th. And it's going to be Willie Randolph now. Facing Grimsley. Oh, and that's going to be hammered to left field. And that's going to be all the way to the wall. Hustling around second is Randolph. Here comes the throw, and he's safe in at third with a triple. Randolph clobbered that one. Hammered to left field. Got all the way to the wall and ricocheted back there. And Bunbury playing left field here in Baltimore had a little trouble with it. And it's going to be Stanley now with the time run at the plate. Stanley batted .238 with 1 home run. And it's going to be Grimsley. Grimsley's still in there. He's not going to get pulled right now. And that's going to be with a runner on third. My goodness. What's going on? See pitcher. It's going to be a single. Yeah, he scored 1. Wait a second. The Yanks scored 1 in the top of the 7th. And that was okay, that was an earned run. So that's going to be a single runner scores. So RBI single for Stanley, Fred Stanley, scoring Randolph. And with 1 out now, it's a 3-2 ball game. It's going to be Mickey Rivers. And we're going to take a quick look at the Oriole bullpen, because Grimsley may be out of gas. Grimsley may be out of gas. We got Dyer Miller's going to come in. Unless we have a lefty. We have a lefty. Tippy Martinez is a lefty. He had 10 saves. So Tippy Martinez is going to come in to face. No, but do we want to do that? Because then there's 2 righties. Now we're going to bring in Dyer Miller. So Dyer Miller, we're going to get a little sleeve for him. We ordered these online to protect the cards and not get them filthy so they last. Dyer Miller is a B. He's going to be an A for this batter. He was 2-4 with a 2.94 ERA and 7 saves. He's going to be facing Mickey Rivers and then perhaps Roy White. We'll see what happens. So he's a B. But for this battle, he's an A. So let's go. Mickey Rivers. Here's the pitch to Rivers. The tying run is at first base in Fred Stanley. So 41. And that's a hard hit ball right at the shortstop, Belanger. And that's a 28. And that's going to be Belanger. Flips over to Gritch. Gritch back to first. Not in time. No way. Not even close. Rivers can fly, and he's on at first now without number 2. And it's going to be Roy White. Now, Roy White is 2 for 4. He singled home the only Yankee run in the 7th inning. So here's Miller to Roy White. Roy White, I believe, is a switch hitter. Yes, he is. Say 41, and that's going to be hit right at Belanger, who takes it himself for the force. Game over. So the Yanks threaten, and they score a run here in the top of the 9th inning. Final score is 3-2 Orioles. So I'm not sure what they're. Let me take a quick look at the Yankee record now. They won game. Okay, wait a second. They won game. Hunter won game 1. Then Figueroa won game 2. So they're 2-1 now. And Hunter's going to be 1-1. He gets the loss here. Hunter goes 8 innings. It gives up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. And 3 runs, only 2 earned runs. He walked 1 and struck out 5. Gave up no home runs. And that's all. The win goes to Grimsley, and the save goes to Miller. And that's all she wrote for tonight, guys. This game went, oh wow, okay. About 45 minutes, more than I thought. A lot of going on in this game. All right, take care. Hope you enjoy APBA. Basic. Yanks lose it 2-1 in our replay of the 1976 season.